Yeah, this is, you know, it's an unsurprising but shocking story that Britain's swimming waters are set to become the filthiest in
terrible.
Europe. And the experts have found that English waterways are 5 times more likely to be polluted than those in Europe. And I think this goes to show that water privatisation has been a 35-year catastrophic failure. £85 billion paid out in shareholder dividends, millions of tonnes of sewage poured into our waterways. And the Labour government really needs to get a grip of this. Steve Reed, the Secretary of State for the Environment, inexplicably has ruled out bringing water into public ownership.
It's the cost, isn't it?
No, this is a myth, because Steve Reed constantly quotes this £100 billion cost to bring water into public ownership. That figure was published in a report that was paid for by the privatised water industry. Right. So there's experts across the land that have actually found that bringing the majority of our water back into public ownership so that it's run for people, not shareholder profit, would cost zero.
Zero?
Zero.
We've got to pay for the infrastructure, wouldn't we?
Well, there's going to have to be...
Because this is part of the problem. We didn't privatise just the industry, we privatised the infrastructure as well.
There's going to have to be investment, but the joy of public ownership is that rather than profit being extracted, that £85 billion that's gone out to shareholders can be invested into our infrastructure.
I hate to break...
It's a no-brainer and very popular. 85% of the British population want water into public ownership.
Well, I hate to break with convention, but I tend to agree, actually. I think when it comes to water, because our water is so filthy, and, you know, poor people, particularly in the southwest, you can't even go into the rivers or seas, you know, a beautiful part of the country, I think it's an absolute disgrace. I wouldn't have any of this GB Energy nonsense that's not creating any energy at all. I wouldn't have nationalised the railways, frankly. I know there's always issues with the trains and certain things, but, you know, I think they still continue. They still continue to run. But when there's a finite of public resources, getting to grip of the waters, I think, is paramount.
Water is the building block of life.
Yes.
Yeah, it is an entitlement.
It's
quite important.
Is absolutely outrageous. And the Labour Party need to get a grip.
Well, it could have worked. It could have worked. It could have worked. It's just the fact it clearly hasn't worked, and they're taking the mick.
And they're still paying themselves big dividends.
Huge bonuses.
Even though the government announced, only a few months ago, that they were to stop those big dividends, they're still happening, presumably because they're written in legalese in somebody's contract.
Well, Steve Reed, again, he promised to ban bonuses for the CEOs. And rather than pay themselves bonuses, the CEOs are basically laughing at each and every one of us and have just whacked up their salaries to cover the shortfall.
How can they do that morally? How can they do that when they know?
It's larceny. And, you know, we need to put a stop to this. Because the very basic that we need is clean drinking water and clean bathing water, so that we could go on holiday and be confident that when we go in the sea, we're not going to be swimming around in raw sewage.
Yes, well, I think that's absolutely right. Charlie, let's change tack significantly. Something jolly. And I know something you're very